Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Jeremiah, hello. Good morning. Congratulations on being first today. Clara, Lady Prairie, Kia, Aaron, good morning. Hello, friends. How's everybody doing today? Hello, hello, hello. 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 Good morning, Silver. How's everybody doing today? Had 5 interviews yesterday, so I'm kind of tired, but just reading some of the crazy with Bondi yesterday. Yeah, she kind of went delulu. Hey, Summer. She went delulu. Adam Schiff, what's his name from Maryland? The Lou, I think is his last name, from California. Morning, Garpu. Well, I mean, at least a couple are starting to see the writing on the wall in how they're voting. Whether they're seeing it enough, I don't know. But this is why you're going to see more conspiracy theories about election denial and everything else. Because that's the only way they can win at this point. He knows that come midterms, he won't be able to get any of his stuff done. Signed up for observer training. They're about to crack down on protesters, and I want to be as informed as possible. Good. Good. Probably something we all should do. I mean, to be fair, he owns the House and the Senate, and he's still getting nothing done. I've never seen someone run the entire country on executive orders the way he is right now. And heck, even some of the things that he's created are starting to fall apart. It's kind of sad. I just saw that his committee on religious freedom, or whatever the frick he's calling it, they already kicked somebody out because of a disagreement that they had with each other. It's like it's literally falling down around them, and it's sad. It is quite sad. Oh, I don't think it has anything to do with this fantasy of being king. I think it has to do with his I think it has to do with his with the understanding that that's the only way he could do any of what he's doing. If he did it any other way, it wouldn't go through. Morning, Rosa. I think they know it's the only way to get stuff through. Do we think the Senate will fold to get rid of filibuster? No. No. They know that they are screwed if they do that. Nice, AJ. I mean, thank her for being willing to talk about it. Morning, Ash. We're in that weird place when it's 40s in the morning and 70s by lunch, so I'm cold but refuse to turn anything on. That's fair. That's fair. Again, it's it's arguable whether the law would even like be legal, be constitutionally legal, but it's not even arguable. It wouldn't be constitutionally legal. And I think Congress is smart enough to know that. So if they got rid of the filibuster to do this, and then it got taken down by Congress, it's not like they can just put the genie back in the bottle, you know? Like, they get rid of the filibuster, they in trouble. Hey, Kelly. I have a heated blanket on my lap for 9 months a year. Oh, I feel you, Rosa. I feel you. And I could be completely wrong. Let's be fair. These guys are kind of it's not like anybody is actually it's not like any of the Republicans feel completely sane, except for Massey, which is so weird to say. Massey feels like the only sane person in Congress on the Republican side right now. But I saw someone say Bondi is Trump's Maxwell, and I don't think that's wrong. The nuclear option gets rid of it altogether, not just for single votes. You can get rid of it. You can get rid of it for single concepts. So like the filibuster, they got rid of the filibuster for judicial votes. I think it's judicial. I forget. There's a couple things that they've gotten rid of it for, but it's across the board. So this one specific part, there is never a filibuster. It is always it's always majority. So we'll have to see what happens. Like I said, you have such a short window when the AC isn't needed. So I'm all no excess electricity for silly things like cold feet. Truth. Truth. Okay, I'm back. Good. Welcome back. Good morning. Supreme Court. That's what it was. It was Supreme Court. It's not for judicial as a whole. It's just Supreme Court. Yes. Hey, Patrick. I learned from Bernard Taylor in Florida that AC isn't legally required for landlords to provide, but heat is. Dang. That's so dumb. And people wonder why we want to get rid of capitalism. Like, really tired feeling this morning. Just did a free bus program. Heck yeah. Went outside to sweep the litter we put out for the dogs for the bad weather on the deck. Ah. Just had a long sleeve shirt on to try and wake me up a bit. I got a short sleeve shirt on. It's nice and warm in my office. So the Congress voting to end the tariffs on Canada. I mean, I know it's just the House, but it's possible. It's not going to go into law because there's no way the president will sign it into law. But dang, if it's not a huge slap in the face to the current administration. The weird thing was one Democrat actually voted against it. Where I'm from in upstate New York, the power company wasn't allowed to turn the electricity off during the winter because people could freeze to death. 37 degrees out, that's practically summer. Come on. 40s and 50s in North Iowa this coming week, unheard of in February, but I'm here for it. There you go. Thanks, Rosa. Yeah, it's an interesting interview. Guys, just so you know, I hope you like watching candidates because I think I'm going to have to start posting like even over the weekend, like schedule and have it post over the weekend because I have so many interviews that if I don't post every day, I'm going to run out of space. It was 25 when I got out of the gym and I was in flip-flops. There you go. We have to call and tell them we have a medical need for power to stay on, or there are small children. Otherwise, they'll turn it off. Heck. You're 45 minutes into Mila's interview. Good morning, Jen. Thank you, Rosa. Appreciate that. What? It's been very interesting seeing the response after yesterday too. I wonder, especially about that what is it, the battle book or whatever the hell they call it? The idea that the executive branch is spying on the legislative branch. Again, I wonder if they realize how that looks. Like, I know we've got a lot of people that are still supporting, but the more this kind of stuff happens, the better the chance that they will wake up, if that makes sense. I watched Bondi and her shit show yesterday. That woman has no limits. It was wild. Junior high school. I think that's offensive to junior high students. It was kindergarten playground nonsense. That's probably closer. She didn't try to hide it. She'd wait for someone to talk and then flip through her book. Yep. Can walk but cannot formulate complete thoughts and sentences yet. You're good, Kia. I mean, she called what's his name, the Maryland congressman, a fake lawyer. She wouldn't even look at the victims. Nope. There are quite a few people getting firsthand experience of make a deal with the devil and you're going to get burned. See, and this is the crazy thing. You would have thought that they would have known that from the his first time in office. That's the wild thing. Everybody, except for a couple people who aligned themselves with him in his first term, ended up suffering. Heck, the literal history of aligning yourself with this man is pain. Yeah, I saw that Dawson's Creek had a loss. Yep. He was just a little bit older than I was, or than I am. Yeah. Just shows how dumb his cabinet truly is. I don't think there is any way to truly put into words how dumb this cabinet is. Like, nothing. Harness just posted that ICE is pulling out of Minnesota. I have not heard anything say that ICE is pulling out of Minnesota. I'm not sure where he saw that, but saw a New York Times alert that they're pulling out. I'll believe it when I see it. I guess the question is, what do they mean by pulling out? All ICE agents are leaving Minnesota? That I don't believe. Announces end of Minnesota immigration crackdown. Orders are Tom Homan announced Thursday the surge of federal immigration officers in Minnesota is concluding, with a drawdown set to occur over the course of next week. On February 4th, Homan said federal authorities were going to immediately draw down 700 law enforcement personnel in Minnesota, and that around 2,000 remain in the state. The number was around 150 before the surge. So we'll have to see. I mean, Bondi had that Leon Leon, I'm not sure how to say it. I go on at 10 o'clock on TikTok. So 5 minutes. On a positive note, I made strawberry sourdough. There you go. Hey, Shawnee. And hi, Leon. How are you? What's minimal mean to them? Yep. We'll find out. Oh yeah, you don't get to interrupt me. No, they get to interrupt you. They get to interrupt her. They get to they get to they get to cut her off. They get to do all that stuff. It's one of the most infuriating things about hearings, but they absolutely get to do that. I wonder if they're going to go somewhere else so we don't pay attention when they try and get more money from the bridge that Minnesota was eventually supposed to profit from. Hey, good morning. But yeah, I'll believe all of that when I see it. I'll believe all of that when I see it. I mean, she did it the last time. This was her playbook on the last hearing. Literally was her playbook on the last hearing. She just didn't use their like search things, but it was exact every time. It was the exact same thing every single time. Oh yeah, when Congressman Lou, I think it was, from California said it. Yep. Funny might not be the word, especially if she did it, but yeah, it was well, yeah. I mean, Jim Jordan. Not going to say what I think about Jim Jordan right now. Hey, Laura. Good morning. Don't you dare. Oh, no, you did. Oh, yeah. Jim Jordan being the chairman on a committee that looked into the Epstein files. That, oof. There's some really bad irony in that statement, in that reality. I think they're just not used to Democrats pushing back so hard. And I'm so happy to finally see it. I'm so happy to finally see them pushing back. Not letting themselves be punching bags. Now, to be fair, they may realize that their incumbency is at risk if they don't start doing it, but still nice to see it. All right, I'm gonna go grab some more coffee real quick, and then I'm gonna go live over on TikTok too. So talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Okay. You're gonna need that coffee? Yeah. Did you see Chelsea Hockett's opponent at the hearing? I didn't, Philip. I need to get Chelsea on. By the way, so next Friday during live, we're gonna be having Elizabeth Beggs, just running for Congress. She's gonna be on to answer questions. And I'm gonna be trying to do a thing where I get as many different people on some lives so we can do some live question asking as well. So a week from tomorrow, you'll start seeing stuff advertising for it. I'm going to try and do that too. We can try and get some more people on. Morning show. That is the plan. I know I have reached out to multiple people. The problem is not everyone can do a morning live. So, and to an extent, I'm doing it. You're going to be doing a live next week with Di? Heck yeah. You're going to read Plessy v. Ferguson case? Nice. That's awesome, Kia. But yeah, I have a couple ideas that are in process of doing things with people whose people whose primaries are that month or coming up. It's more about going, it's more about getting people to respond. That's not always easy. Long time no see, Johnny. How are you, buddy? Hello, Kia. Guys, make sure you hit that nose while you're over here. Tap, 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 tap. I also meant like an LGBTQIA person to do a live in June. Oh, yeah. For sure. I'd be down with that. 100%. Hey, Meme. How are you? Good morning. I don't know if I'm ready for this. We'll see. First time I showed up in your live notification? Dang. Good morning, Dee Dee. We'll see what it's like. You never know. You never know. Puppy on your lap and hot coffee. There you go. Thanks, AJ. Yep. Hot lips. I feel like I need to make a I feel like I need to make a Hot Lips or Fire Lips emote or something. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, party. Don't mind me, just in the mood. Hey, I feel you. I feel you. You aren't alone, Summer. By the way, if you're in Texas, posted another video today of someone who's running in the 33rd district. So make sure you go watch that, because your primaries are coming up. North Carolina, I've got a couple up there. Maybe only one. I haven't gotten many people from North Carolina, which is sad. Yes. Yeah, there's actually 3 people that I've posted that are running in Texas right now. Over on the tube. So if you go check those out. I don't know if that's your district, but you should definitely check it out. 4 people. 1 who's running for state seat and 3 who are running for federal seats. And also, if you haven't gone over and watched the video, the interview that I did with the young lady who was detained by ICE during her green card interview, you should go check that out too. It's somewhat eye-opening. It's somewhat eye-opening. Guys, if you're over here on TikTok, please tap that nose. It helps push this out to more people. The more engagement you do, the more it helps this live. So I absolutely appreciate it. Headed back over to the tube. No worries, Rosa. Thank you. I love that I have people that go onto both sides. So they're like, hello from over here. Hello over here too. It's awesome. You guys are great. My inner child is fine. It's my inner teenager that's looking for the rager. That's fair. That's fair. 100% fair. I've just been watching the clips. I just haven't had time to watch, and it sucks because I like watching the Olympics. I actually like watching curling. I always have to go hunt for you on TikTok. This is the first time your live was right at the top. Heck yeah. Hey, John. How are things in Missouri? I think that's what MO is. Hello, how are things in Indiana today? Obi? Only Rage hasn't broken up. We could use them for sure. Truth. Thank you. Thank you. Love curling, speed skating, downhill with the drones. Actually, the downhill with the drones is pretty cool. Are you going to address the Bondi hearing? I mean, we've been talking about it. You mean other than the fact that it was a complete shit show and she should be impeached and imprisoned. My toxic trait says I can do curling. There you go. I was actually sick listening to her. Yeah, I had to end. I had to stop before the end of my live yesterday because I could not stand listening to her voice anymore. Like, she was making me physically ill. I had to stop watching. Yeah. She didn't answer any questions. Nope. Nope. But again, I wasn't actually surprised about that. If you watched her first time in front of them, it was the exact same thing, except this time the Democratic congressmen and women like just didn't allow her any of her shit. Like, every time she started going off on other things, they were like, no, 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 no. She's not even good at playing the mean girl. That's true. Like I said, I got a lot of issues with the Democratic Party, but it was nice to see them not at least fighting back. Guys, if you're over here on TikTok, please tap that nose. It really helps push this out to other people. Also, joining the team or the fan club or whatever the heck they call it. By the way, AIM, thank you for the roses. Thank you for everyone for the heart me's and the populars. I really do appreciate it. Felt like the Apprentice show. I mean, the strangest part was most of it. I mean, her telling Raskin that he's a washed up lawyer or a fake lawyer or whatever, that was also kind of weird. How they're doing it. How they're doing what? They're not, most of the people that they're detaining have no criminal record. Never have had a criminal record. A vast majority of the people that they are detaining and deporting have no criminal record. She's trying to keep from getting fired, and in turn she's going to go to jail for other reasons, most likely, like lying to Congress, like lying under oath. I mean, I appreciate that, FTC. Technically, it's not a view. They've got data that shows what, who they've been detaining and deporting. If you want to consider it a view, that I think that undocumented does not mean that you should be detained and deported, that's different. But criminals is a different statement. Yeah, I'll believe what I don't. He didn't really go into specifics about what that means. So if it means they're going back to the way they were before they started this, great. But I'll believe it when I see it. Bondi was playing. Oh yeah, her statements were just false, even about Trump. Like, why do we care about the Epstein files when the Dow is doing so good? Like, excuse me? So everyone that has sped is considered a criminal in your book? I hope you've never sped. I hope you've never gone through a red light. Well, the fine for being an undocumented immigrant is not being detained and deported. No, it's not. Actually, it's not. Especially if you're an asylum seeker. Guys, if you're over here on TikTok, please tap that nose. The faster we get those likes up, the more people we can get in on the conversation. Good morning, Ziggy. How are you? Are we questioning now if the e-files are true? That's the only thing they have. They've been arguing for the e-files to be released. Like, this administration ran on it. So the only thing they have after is that they aren't actually true. That's the reality. There's two. They have when the files don't show what they want to show, the only thing they can do is question the validity of them. Oh, I know my facts. Oh, Marvin, are you suffering from tiny D syndrome? Looks like you are. Hey, Bobia. Crockett did. A lot of them did. What was it, Representative Lou? I can never remember his last name. No, I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. My values align with progressive values, but I don't align with any political party. Ted Lieu. Yeah. Yeah. My name is Mike, but I'm doing good. How are you doing? No, you're good. Lou was pretty good. Like I said, it was great to see them all standing up and being like, enough of this. Enough of this. Guys, if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, if you're open to it, join in the fan club. That helps it helps this gets pushed out, helps this live get pushed out to other people. I really do appreciate it. Mike, aka Fire Lips. Yep. You got it. You got it, Rosa. I need to get my daughter to make a Fire Lips emote. What's up, Shane? How you doing, buddy? All Bondi did yesterday was deflect. She didn't even do that. She tried. She sure tried. Aw, Jamie. How does it feel to have tiny D syndrome? Working and running on no sleep. You? Pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. Really appreciate you being on this morning so I can listen on the way to work. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. As I said in the video I posted yesterday, if you are a lawyer or a judge, you should be disgusted by what happened yesterday, by her reaction yesterday. Hey, Betty. And most of the people up there were lawyers. Hello. Hey, Kelly. It's still amazing to me how many people that are running for office in the midterms are veterans. And again, maybe that's normal, but because of what I'm doing, I'm seeing more of them. But so many of the people running are veterans. Then she tries to bring up anti-Semitism to a congresswoman who lost a grandfather in the Holocaust. Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot. So I've probably interviewed easily 30 to 40 people so far. And I would say 3/4 of them are our veterans. NFL isn't a English speaking sport. How many times did she perjure herself yesterday? Oh gosh, probably too much to count. Probably too much to count. Sports have an official language? Nope. Neither does the United States. They voted to end them. The ones for Canada, yes. The House did. It's going to the Senate, although it won't, the president won't sign it, but the lady from Atlanta who lost her son, how dare Pam come for her? Every time she spoke, she made me sick. When is Patel coming back to be questioned? That's a good question. I don't know. When do they think we invented football? The American exceptionalism is disgusting. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Stu. Good morning. How you doing, Heidi? I think, right? Not losing my mind? I've seen a lot of names lately. All. Correct, Mary. I'm living on caffeine and government lies. I can't see what that second one is, but you brought chocolate for y'all in the spirit of the weekend holiday. Yeah, how many people think that that the current president of the United States thinks that President's Day is to celebrate him? How many want to guess that our current president thinks that flowers? Gotcha. That our current president thinks that President's Day is actually to celebrate him. I haven't heard him say it, but I'm sure he does. Will he spend more for another parade? No, all the money now is going into his Arc de Triomphe, which hopefully does not happen. You first. Morning, Laura. Our dumbass is more like it. Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Yeah. Hello from Serbia. How are things in Serbia? Not good. Sorry to hear that. Hello from Hawaii. Oh, I want to go back to Hawaii. I'm so tired. Just please send me back to Kuwait if they plan to. Like the US? Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. You have a dictator too? You'd think with the internet and everything else in this world that we would be that we'd be past this shit. You know? You'd think. You would think. Hey, how are things in North Dakota? Shouldn't have had tariffs on Canada in the first place. Truth. Internet and social media is half the problem. Disagree. Disagree. This all existed way before the internet and social media. Hard disagree that internet and social media are the problem. The people that think that internet and social media are the problem are the old people that don't use internet and social media. I'm sorry. I have issues with internet, and so I have issues with social media, but social media is not the problem. Not even a little bit. Again, serious issues with social media. Oh, people like me? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, do. Ah! All right. Guys, please tap that nose, share the live with people. By the way, I think I saw Patty. By the way, hi Patty. I'm sorry I forgot to say hello. Good morning, Jose. For everyone that's over here on TikTok, just so you know, I also go live over on the tube. With everything that's going on here, it they're making it harder to keep doing what I'm doing over on TikTok. So I'm trying to grow over in the tube. I'm also interviewing as many progressives that are running for office as humanly possible. I'm pretty much posting every single day over there. So you should go over and check it out. Especially because I might be interviewing someone who's running for office in your district. If not now, almost definitely in the future. What's up, Grizzly? What is going with the e-files? Oh, you know, the people that wanted them to be released are now wishing they didn't get them released. Have you had an opportunity to interview anyone from California? Not yet. I have reached out to so many. So many. I haven't heard back from any of them. So I don't. All I can do is reach out. All I can do is reach out. How many districts does Cali have? A lot. Like 50? Forty something? 50? Somewhere around there. Over 200 contacted, but we can't make them respond, unfortunately. Yep. And that's just federally, Stu. There's probably way more in state. Congressional is 52. That makes sense with the amount of people that live there. Found me on YouTube. Hey, Dana. So do you think Massey will now release the names he threatened to go public? I hope so. I hope so. I'm kind of annoyed at I mean, who isn't annoyed at Marjorie Taylor Greene? But she said that she would say the names on the floor, but then she retired before she did. Communities need to organize in advance. I'm assuming you're talking about Ice Grizzly. You did get filtered again. They have planned to move elsewhere now. Yep. Every community, especially every city, should be prepped. Every city should prep. So if you are live in a city that doesn't have a massive presence by ICE, you need to start reaching out to your community and prepping, because it will probably come. She did an interview. Yeah, I mean, she's talking, but she can be targeted more now. The whole point of saying it on the floor of Congress is you're protected by what you say there as a congressman or woman. Then we're moving on. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit earlier, Grizzly. I'll believe it when I see it, and we'll see what that actually looks like. But yeah, I mean, if they're actually pulling out, at least mostly, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Give you the list, you'll do it. They're moving their folk. Yeah. No, I understand that. No. No what? Maybe. Got him. What they typed fixed the typist. Perchance. I mean, they aren't willing to put a picture on their name, so chances are it's probably not going to be good no matter what. Will not be quiet until there's justice. Truth. Nor should anybody. I know it's going to get hard because they're going to be focusing on a lot of different places and a lot of different people, but we need to make sure we understand that they're not done in Minnesota. They're not gone in Chicago or Portland or Charlotte. Did you see what happened to ICE in Milan? I mean, I heard about the protests. Did something specifically happen? Jose, thank you for gifting 5 memberships over on the tube. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. It helps more than you know. It helps more than you know that you all are willing to support me the way you do. Like, I can't even describe how amazing it is. They're getting fight clubbed in Milan. Interesting. Well, good. They shouldn't be there. Thank you, Ken. It really means a lot to me. Frozen people caused an accident that critically injured someone yesterday. Is that being talked about? The last thing that I have heard at all about Minnesota or Minneapolis and the cubes is a 6-year-old being hit with hit with the munitions of a firearm in the leg. That's the only thing that I have heard recently. Oh, I also heard about I forget where it was, but they did a raid on a child trafficking ring, and one of the people picked up worked for ICE doing background checks. Did you guys hear that one? Whew. The guy in charge of doing background checks just getting arrested for child trafficking. Dang. Like, how? This is the thing. Here's the thing. How Look, I know there are bad people in the world, right? We all know there are bad people in the world. So it shouldn't. When do you interview the guy running against Mike Johnson? I already did. It just I haven't posted it yet. Is there a primary coming up soon? I can't keep track of everyone that's running, and I'm trying to get people's up before their primaries happen. Louisiana's is March 3rd. I know North Carolina and Texas are March 3rd. No, May. Okay. Right now, I'm trying to get anyone from Illinois, North Carolina, Texas in. I haven't interviewed anyone from Arkansas. California's in October. Yeah, I haven't actually interviewed anyone in October in California yet, which is surprising considering how many are running. Hey Ansley, how are you? Welcome to the muckers. Congratulations, you're in a mucker. But yeah, we knew that there were bad people in the world, but dang, if it didn't, if I'm still not getting somewhat surprised at the extent. Again, the person in charge of background checks for ICE was just arrested for helping run a child trafficking ring. And that is barely being talked about. Which means they didn't do a background check on him. I mean, they may have. He just had nothing in his background to show that that was a problem. There's a video going around that is highlighting all the crimes ICE agents have been charged with. I heard a muck in an audiobook yesterday and I started doing the Sarah Anderson a muck thing. There you go. And that's new charges, not old ones. Yeah. Do you follow ProPublica? They do excellent reporting on what's going on. Yes. Yep. Yeah, I see a lot of ProPublica stuff. I mean, he's been arrested. We'll have to see what happens. I'm assuming he's going to get charged too. Yeah, I get this is the part that frustrates me, is this idea that they care about kids so much and yet they're trying to protect all of the people instead of the victims and the e-files, the people that they're supporting that have it's just so, I cannot. Oh, that is the reality. They don't care about kids. 100% true. Hundo, percento, true. Oh. On the Face app. I don't use the Face app, so I only use Instagram because I have to. I cannot stand the Face app. It cannot. I can barely use their other app. Gosh, I don't remember when I left the Face app. It was a long time ago. I can't stand it. It is a cesspool. And I understand that there are people that are like, oh, well, we need to be in there because blah, 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 blah. But no, I can't do it. Can't do it. Community people can come up if they want. My family plans everything there. Hello.
Good morning. I still have it just because the 7 years I had with my pops is completely there. All of our memories and everything. That is literally the only reason I ever go in there and look in memories, see if there's any. Sometimes it's just a message or a comment that he put.
Yeah.
Something, but I don't engage with it.
I mean, I have an account technically because you're required to have one to get any of the other accounts. But I've never, I got rid of my one that I used a long time ago and I made a new one just for this purpose. Bondi went full Regina George. Bondi went full BWB.
But do you know what? If it would have been Jasmine Crockett or Kamala Harris or any other black woman that would have went up there and acted like that, they would have been screaming she was aggressive and all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
You notice how they're not saying that.
Well, I mean, yeah. The Republicans in that committee were just as disgusting in the way they were handling things. Let's talk about Chinese vapes.
You know, like I said yesterday, what a way to slap victims and survivors in the face than to behave the way that you did. Not just as a woman, but as the Attorney General of the United States. And the fact that they keep talking about they're ending the weaponization while seemingly weaponizing the ever loving shit out of it, it was if people that still thought that they cared about you, your kids, these young women, if you didn't watch yesterday and realize, like, they don't care, the fact that she wouldn't look at them, she wouldn't engage with them, her behavior says she's totally not serious. Not only hers, but every single one of those reps that decided they weren't going to talk anything about it and bring up other bullshit instead, they're just as complicit as her. They are all complicit. These are the people who are literally saying what happened to these girls and young women is okay.
Yep. Hey, Ambrosia. Hey, Lisa. It was appalling, but I was not surprised. No, I mean, again, if you watched the last time that she was in a house hearing, it's almost exactly the same. Barely any difference. Barely any difference.
And that was my thing. It's like, that's why it kind of makes me go back to being pissed off at the Dems. Any single one of them that voted to put any of these people through, they acted, especially the ones that had confirmation hearings, a lot of them acted just the same way she did yesterday. So it's like it shouldn't be a surprise. And however, that being said, even though it shouldn't be surprised or shocking because they repeatedly keep doing it, when do we say, like, holy, I'm trying really hard to keep my filters. Trying really, really hard.
Didn't she insult one of the members who is Jewish? Yep. Told a congresswoman who's had a relative who lost their life during the Holocaust that she was being anti-Semitic. Yep. It's just I don't know. I don't know.
And I got to go back cuz RTP was streaming it also on the tube, so like after I was able to kind of go back and watch some of, what we had missed and it we have anybody watching that, I'm sure, was like, how do, like, I'm almost speechless. There's so many things wrong with that, because what do we think other countries watching that and seeing how the people that are supposedly in charge of what they're in charge of act the way they do in front of the committee that's supposed to hold them accountable? How does that win us any kind of points or do anything other than harm us even further in the way the rest of the world looks at us? It's not just what's happening right here. It's just there is such a thing as the internet, and people all over the world had access to watch what happened yesterday.
Yep. Oh, I mean, Betty, we were watching it here and I hit a point even before, like I was planning on just watching it until the end, like of my live, and I couldn't. I hit a point and are just like, nope, I'm done. I was just getting more and more angry every time she opened her mouth. So, hey, Rosa.
Oh, hey. But also, when North Korea says you've gone too far, when Germany has classified us with some other places and said like, hey, don't go there because they're acting very much like these other places, like the whole world knows, and we're the last ones to know because American exceptionalism is disgusting.
Yep. Really is. Hey, Mission.
Hey, Mission. Hey, Rosa. Exceptionalism is just so gross, so
Mm-hmm.
real, and just.
Oh, and was it Moskowitz's thing where he like had the people stand up and be like, how many have been contacted by the DOJ? How many are willing to have contacted the DOJ and not heard back from them? How like is just so gross. So gross.
He is good at props. I'll give him that. I think my favorite was his signal gate tie. But he does do good props.
Dan
The only
Goldman.
thing with the props is I just wish if they're going to show things that could be triggering for people, I wish they would just say, hey, trigger warning real quick.
Yeah.
But I don't, I almost, it's like you watch what you saw, you see, you watch what you saw. And you almost can't, my brain still struggles to put together that these people are in the positions that they have and what they're doing and how much harm they're causing and how harmful it is now, not just now, but for so much longer. Not only that, how many human beings mental health is just being shredded by everything that's going on. The people that are being kidnapped and detained and all of these different things, their friends, their families, their classmates, these children that are being affected by it, and they're going to be affected forever. What a way to make young children that are here want to grow up and be an American patriot and a great citizen than to come and kidnap their parents and detain them and all that stuff. Way to go.
Grizzly, it will not pass the Senate unless the unless Thune they do the nuclear option on the filibuster. And I don't think they will, because you can't just flip it off and then turn it back on. If it's gone, it's gone. And that will not be good long term. They know it. That's why they don't want it. There's a reason that nobody in the Senate wants to get rid of the filibuster, because they know what's coming in the future. And if they do that, they in trouble. The kitties have joined tube, I see.
Yes, I'm multitasking. I'm vacuuming, cleaning litter boxes.
No, you're good.
And some of them are on my bed. So sorry, y'all, over on the tube.
Oh, everyone's just saying hi.
Okay, they're laying down now, so maybe you guys will be safe. And I have to keep looking out the window for the turkey.
So crazy how someone from the government can see so nasty, screaming, insulting. The standards are so low now with these people. It's true. We need someone to do a cinematic visualization, visualizing the E to wake people up. Again, what you're seeing right now is they ran on it. They ran on releasing these files because I don't know what they were thinking. And now the files are showing things that make them look bad. So all the people that supported the releasing of it are now just doing and saying anything humanly possible to pretend like they never did in the first place. That's why you get people that voted for this being like, "Wow, why do you guys even care about these files anymore?" It's like, you guys cared about them.
They're the same ones.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Kia.
Not only that, it just boils my brains, because what if you were reading about somebody doing that to your daughter or your mother or your sister or whoever? And what if if it was happening to somebody that you actively loved and cared about, like really did? like, how would you feel to see the government and the people who are responsible for bringing the people who hurt your person that you love to justice actively just show their whole ass and just completely disrespect?
Here's the thing that we need to remember, and again, it's going to be frustrating, and I understand it. We just had a report of a 23-year-old daughter being unalived by her dad because they had an argument about Trump.
Yeah.
And he
she
is
said,
not even going to be held accountable for it.
Yeah, they didn't indict him. He basically told her, well, I have 2 other daughters. When she said, how would you feel if it was me? And he said, well, I have 2 other daughters. And then he put some extra piercings in her heart. But it was an accident. They won't indict him.
No accountability, correct.
Nope. That's Texas.
It's Texas for you. That's how that's
Yep.
possible.
And she was visiting him from the UK.
Yep.
I read about that yesterday.
Yeah. He has an affinity for alcohol,
And
his whole family has called him on it, and they're just like, well, sorry.
And this is the thing that we need to realize is it's frustrating to us. It's angering. It makes us furious because we have humanity. These people don't. They just don't. I'm sorry. I wish it weren't true. I wish I didn't have to keep saying it. Do I think there are some that may be closer to the center that are just been living in a cult and need to need to wake up? Yes. But we're talking about people that are deep into this cult. They don't have humanity. They don't. You want some examples of it? Go watch that Necessary Conversation podcast. Those parents have no humanity. They've straight up said that if the president of the United States said to carpet bomb an area, that they would be okay with it because he must have had a reason.
Yeah. They would be okay with giving. I've seen them say they'd be okay with letting them babysit their kids, letting them use their children for whatever. Like, I'm convinced that they see representation in themselves, like of themselves, like, their alcoholic uncle or this or that, and they would rather just sit there, be comfortable, and not face the pain than do anything.
Who are these people? There's a podcast called Necessary Conversation podcast. I forget if it's called a podcast at the end. These two adult kids, and then their 2 MAGA parents. It's disgusting. I've watched like 2 episodes ever because I can't watch more of it because it makes me want to throw up. Good morning, Jelly, and hi, Kelly.
I miss. Good morning, Jelly. I miss what you said. I ended up having to run outside with something in my hands, and I didn't have my phone. Before you were talking about the podcast, did they say something recently that you heard?
I mean, I was just saying that this is who they are. The parents on that said at one point that they were asked by one of their kids that if the president said to carpet bomb an area of the United States, would you be okay with it? And their response was, well, I'm sure he would have a reason. So yes.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the most recent episode, the daughter was like, you guys aren't Christians. Like, you can tell that that at least the daughter is getting very close to being done completely. I would have been done a long time ago. Oklahoma, I think. Oklahoma what? They live in Texas. Again, Texas.
It's crazy that how the name of a state has just like become like it's almost like a noun. It's like almost all of the different things, noun, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. You could just use the word as Texas as as a whole standalone sentence that combines all of those.
You're right. You're right, Austin. They were talking about Oklahoma in the conversation. Correct. Yep. But it's just, I cannot. This is the reality that we're living with. That sometimes, obviously, we need to interact with it because we need to understand that it's true. But in the same respect, we need to be careful giving it a voice. It's a very fine line that we're all walking when we're doing this. It's a fine line for me, that's for sure. Who has a platform? Because I think conversations are important. But in the same respect, I don't ever want to give any validity to those kind of values, to that kind of worldview.
For sure. I think definitely people being aware that people openly talk about that and feel that way. I think people need to know that those kind of people exist, because especially if you still have the rose-colored glasses on and you're kind of sheltered and you don't allow yourself to believe, it's like to actually be truly woke and be open-minded to the fact that there's people out here that actively engage in this kind of rhetoric and thinking, and they promote it, and they make money off of it, and how harmful it is. You have to know it's happening. Even if you don't sit there and watch a whole episode or anything, it's important to be aware that it's happening.
Yeah, I stopped watching at this point. They're just profiting off their disgusting parents. But here's the thing. If it weren't, and again, this kind of goes along with what we're talking about. If it weren't for that podcast and the way the kids ask the parents questions and the way the parents respond, I'm not sure how much longer it would have taken for me to realize how bad it really is for some of these people. Like I always kind of knew it was bad. Obviously, you hit a point like, the 2024 election and you knew things were bad. But I think watching at minimum the clips of that podcast have made me realize how bad it really is. And how the mentality of some of the people that we're dealing with. Catch you up on what we're talking about. What are we talking about? We've been talking about Bondi and the hearing, and we've kind of like split off into some other things, because of that. But the general gist of the topic was talking about the hearing with Pam Bondi yesterday. Oh yeah, the dad. But see, that's the thing. The mom is just as bad. Like, the only difference between the mom and the dad is the mom cares about her kids. That's the difference. I don't believe the dad cares about his kids anymore, based on the clips that I've seen, based on the responses that I've seen. Where the mom still cares about her kids and tries to walk a line that she is failing to walk. I think the dad hates his kids. He said that he believes that we are in a religious battle, a religious war right now in the United States. And that's all that matters. Nothing else matters. Nobody else matters. Can you imagine their childhood? They've talked about it. And no, I can't imagine living in a childhood like that.
Not only that, it just I find it crazy that these are the kind of people that call themselves patriots, but don't seem to have an understanding that the basic foundation outside of racism was a freedom of religion coming here. Like that's one of the cornerstones of what this country was like based on, and it just frustrates me that they so willfully and blatantly just disregard facts and history and just spew.
Yep. Yes, Representative Liu's response was really good. I've always appreciated him. I don't know much about him, but he, from the times that I have seen him speak out loud, he has always been a straight talker, and I have appreciated it.
See, and my opinion is, it might be an unpopular one, is the mom sounds like she wants to appear to care for the kids, but like staying with a man that's treating them like that is it's hard to understand. Like, and it is when women do things like that that continues to perpetuate the misogyny and the harm.
Sure.
And just the whole cycle.
Yep. Oh no. I'm again, in my view, in the grand scheme of things, she is just as bad as he is. I think the reason that she is just not as blunt as he is because I think there's a part of her that still wants a relationship, whether it's she thinks that she can convince them to think like she does or some other insane stuff. I don't know, but
yeah,
they are equally as bad, just for different reasons.
Or she's trying to like keep the peace, probably also to like appease her husband.
Oh yeah.
And appeasing, when you try to keep the peace and appease, it's so harmful on so many levels. You're literally destroying any kind of hope of a relationship that you're going to be able to have with your kids, because when you're doing that, you're complicit repeatedly.
Oh, Ambrosia, when we will be fighting this problem of the MAGA cult and this identity politics for, I'd say, at minimum of a decade, probably a couple decades, before we actually can fix things. If people wake up faster and more people get involved, we may be able to shrink that down a little bit. But unfortunately, unless something massive happens that literally just like, unless we go through like another Great Depression or something like that, unfortunately, most people are still going to only think about themselves. There are people in my life that I talk to on a daily basis about what's going on, and they see it, and I interact with them on it. But when you bring up the idea of doing things that are painful or inconveniencing, they start to push back.
They like their comfort. Everyone likes their comfort.
Yep. So it's the unfortunate reality that we're living in, and all we can do is keep talking about what's going on and let these people keep seeing it until it gets to a point where they feel it or fear it enough, which I hate the idea of using fear, but it's a reality that we're talking about. It's just they should fear the reality of what's happening before they're willing to stand up and do something about it. And
at some point, oh, go ahead.
No, you can go.
I was just saying, at some point, as much as it sucks, some people are going to have to just be left behind, because we can't keep, like, if they're not going to wake up and see it, they're going to have to see it eventually. And we may not always be where they can catch up anymore.
Yep. There will be people that will not ever see it. And that's another thing we need to realize. Yes, they will be a part, they will be a part of this country. And we'll still need to understand that reality. But in the end, we need to keep focusing on the problems and then the solutions. The reason we got here is because all we focused on was trying to put band-aids on the things that happened that we don't like, and never look at the problems and what caused them in the first place. And that's the key. We need to start looking at the causes of the problems that we have and stop just trying to put a band-aid on the outcome of the problem, because that's all we're doing. And basically the response is, I don't like this, let's just make it illegal. This outcome is bad, let's just make it illegal. That doesn't fix the problem.
I think also sometimes, a couple things. I think also sometimes that people, the putting on of the Band-Aid makes them feel like, ooh, I did a little something. You know what I mean? I did a little something. I tried to help. I did a little something. But in reality, to me, what it boils down to in that whole comfort conversation is why a lot of BIPOC folks still don't trust YT people, because the fact that they're not willing to come out of their comfort zone at all. And not only just BIPOC people, but any kind of marginalized community. Because of that, it keeps continuously going back to what we're comfortable with, and it's just like, I think that's one of my biggest things. Like, when I hate to say, well, that's how, when people use because to me it sounds like an excuse, well, that's how I was raised. Well, you're a grown-up now. You get to make your own choices and decisions. You don't have to continue to do the things that you were told to do when you were a child and you had no other choice. Once you become a grown-up, you get to make your own decisions, and you don't get to use that as an excuse, period. You can say, this is how I was taught, this is how I was raised, but I chose not to continue doing this. I realized yada yada. But if you haven't gotten past that point,
Yep.
We need folks to be uncomfortable. We need people to be uncomfortable. I think oftentimes that people that, especially your mates, if you know what I mean, don't understand that people that look like me have been uncomfortable for forever. We've always been uncomfortable. And that's why we were so willing to say, like, hey, we see what's happening. And I also think the other thing that people have to do is get past the point of things having to be blatantly said. Just like when people are like, well, he's not racist because he never says, like, think because he's never come out and said the word, like the N-word on TV or something, they don't think he's racist. Or the fact he's never come out and said, I don't like black people, that means he's not racist. I don't think people are paying enough attention to what people are doing versus what they're saying or not saying.
Because they have been, yes, unfortunately, a lot of people that look like me have been taught that someone who is racist, that is like the only thing. Like, it's only about using these certain words. It's not about how you act. It's not about the society that we live in. The societal stuff, that's all been fixed. The only thing that's left is what we say. It's messed up, and people need to wake up.
Yes, actions always speak louder than words. So I tell people, don't get so hung up on what's said. Definitely pay attention and let that linger. But pay attention to what they do, because I mean, they could sit there with the smile and say the most amazing things, but what are they doing? Like for me, that's why I have such a big issue with oh boy from California, Newsom or whatever. He
Mm-hmm.
just looks like a greasy salesman to me, and I just like he looks the part, absolutely, but that's the problem. Like, he says all of the things, but you know, when you start doing some of the things he's done, platforming some of the people that he's platformed, you're still actively showing that you're still out of touch and you don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get it. You're comfortable in your power and your position to get up there and stand and yell like you do, but I still feel a lot of times like he just doesn't get it.
No, he is the epitome of the problem that we are having. He may believe a lot of the things we believe, but in the end, he's still trying to live in two worlds. Hassan Piker said he would vote. No, Hassan Piker said that he would vote third party. He did not say he would vote for JD. I don't agree with Hassan Parker in that, but I also am expecting and planning to do everything I can to make sure that Newsom is not the nominee before I have to make that decision.
Yeah, Shawnee, exactly that.
But he is trying to live in multiple worlds. He is trying to appease everyone. He's trying to be a moderate. And moderates don't have to get their moderate can't exist at this point. I'm sorry. At this point, if you're trying to slow down things, you are the reason that these things are happening in the first place at this point. Like moderation is the reason that we got here. And again, you are talking to someone who is the epitome of a mediator and a let's have a real open and honest conversation and understand all sides kind of person. That is literally what I do. You're a native Californian and you like him. And again, you're allowed to like him, but I cannot accept the fact that this man brought someone like Charlie Kirk onto his podcast and allowed him to say the things that he said and made it seem like his positions on some of those things were valid positions. That is a non-starter for me. He is totally against the idea of a billionaire's tax in his state. When we keep saying what we need to do is tax the ultra wealthy, well, he's against it in his state. Do I think he is horrible especially when you're comparing him to someone like a JD Vance or a Donald Trump? No, I don't think he's horrible when you compare him to that. But I don't think he is good for this country long term. I think whether he is really, really bad or not, I think he still keeps part of the problem that we have in this country going if he is president. I don't think he actually heads us in the right direction. Yes, Tiffany, we were talking about Gavin. Again, do I think he is JD Vance or Donald Trump bad? No. If you're talking about me voting for those two, at least he speaks out. That's easy. No offense. What he's doing right now is easy. What he's doing right now is easy. Donald Trump speaks out.
I mean, Hegseth speaks out. Like, he just says whatever he wants. And yet here we are. Like, speaking out isn't gonna solve anything.
But speaking out doesn't fix the problem.
No, it's actions.
Understanding the problem and being willing to do to fix those problems is what's enough. Yes, it makes us feel great when he does his little shots on social media. Of course, it makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we're fighting back. We aren't fighting back, though. That's not fighting back. Not really. Is it needed? Yes. Do I think he is doing good things when he does what he does? Yes. That doesn't mean I want him as president. That doesn't mean he'd make a good president. Again, the current president spoke out. The current president said a lot of things that made it seem like he cared. Once he got in office, obviously he didn't.
I also think, to me, as a member of the BIPOC community, he represents everything, the status quo of politics, and especially where it's headed since money has been part of it. He's just like, he just screams, whitey, rich man. And that's the thing. He literally just, with the exception of 8 years, what does every president look like? And it just frustrates me that for some reason we're now on this path where we seem to think that these type of people that have multiple commas in their bank accounts are the ones that are going to truly be representative of all the constituents in this country. And I'm just not seeing it, not at all.
Philip says, I somewhat disagree. I would vote for a moderate, as I don't want the country to try and swing the other way too fast and possibly cause more harm. I just want someone to fix what has been broken. So here's what I would say to that, Philip. What Trump broke was still broken before Trump broke it more. So we've got a couple issues that we're talking about here. There's going back to the way it was, which is, again, status quo. And then there's actually fixing what's broken. Things were broken before Trump came into office. Things were broken before Trump came into office. Trump just made it okay to be out and loud and in your face when it was just hidden before. Now, again, do I believe that, again, if the question is he better than a J.D. Vance? Yes, I think he's better than a J.D. Vance. But I also 150,000% agree with Martin Luther King when he wrote, the biggest detriment to this country moving forward is moderates, especially the moderate white man. Obviously, there is a danger of quote unquote trying to move too fast. But if your perspective is always, we need to be careful about not moving too fast, and in being quote careful to not move too fast, we don't move at all, then we just stick with the same problem that we have. Nothing changes. So the question is do we actually want change? Do we actually want change? If you want change, progress is going to need to happen. The fact is progress by its very nature will be somewhat slowed down because we've got people in this country. We've got people that have different issues, that have different problems, that have different perspectives, that will naturally, by its very nature, slow some things down. Because all progressives don't even agree on everything. So in our fear of progress, what we end up doing is not progressing at all. What we end up doing is just stopping completely. We need to get out of that perspective. We need to get out of this perspective that progress is somehow frightening and dangerous. If you think women voting is a good thing, you can thank progress. If you think the Civil Rights Act is a good thing, you can thank progress. Are you trying to tell me that we should have slowed down those progresses or sped those up? I think we should have sped them up.
Also,
Exactly.
oh, go ahead, Kia.
I say exactly, because if we would keep things slower, why the fact that it took so long for women and BIPOC people to be able to vote is part of the result of keeping things slow. And I think part of the issue is, and Mike, I totally 150% agree with you. That's my biggest issues with moderates. They're basically like, okay, we'll stop the harm, but we're not doing anything to be progressive. That's why we're so far behind when it comes to education and infrastructure and all those other things. We're so far behind because the people trying to maintain the status quo or drag us backwards. Maintaining the status quo does not get you progress. If we want things to change, we have to make them change. And I think I just get a little frustrated sometimes when you say let's keep it slower. Like, there shouldn't be people that are actively walking around that can still vote, that when they were born they were not able to vote. And I think sometimes people need to look at that aspect, to think about that. Like, there's people, like when my kid's grandmother was born, she was not able to vote, and she's still alive. Think about that. We're not talking hundreds of years ago. And that's the thing, it shouldn't have been that long. Black people have been in this country for too long for that to have happened, and there's always been women. I think we definitely need more progressive, and I think anybody that's wanting to maintain the status quo is harmful at this point.
See, Scott, I disagree
Agreed.
that what Dr. King was aiming at was support of moderates. I think what he was trying to do was get moderates to stop looking at themselves and the way they interact with society from this moderate, quote unquote, perspective. I think he was trying to change moderates. I don't think he was trying to get the support of moderates. There's a difference. There's a difference in my brain of us saying, let's get moderates, bring yourself down to moderates, or bring moderates up to us, people that consider themselves moderates. Dr. King was trying to bring moderates up to him, not bring himself down to moderates. And that's the difference. What we have been doing throughout time, throughout at least the last 80 years, in order to quote unquote win, is moderate what we are thinking. Moderate our message so we can fill a tent. And instead, what we need to do, now again, there's extremes. There are ways that you can go about it that can end up turning people away. And I don't think the goal is ever to turn people away. But if our goal is to progress, then what we need to do is bring those moderates to us, not go to them. And that is where I think we have failed, is we spent so much time going to them that we ended up not going anywhere.
I think, and this is just my personal opinion, being a moderate is protecting the harm being done to others. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, because if you're sitting here saying, well, we got to slow this down, well, then you're not really for advancement and progression, are you? Like, you're really not. There's a difference between saying, I want to have discussion about what progression looks like, what a progressive world looks like, all of these things, and saying, well, we need to go slow. We have to be moderate. We can't do this. We can't. I'm sorry. Like, at this point, the divide is making me realize that there are so many people who would rather play fence sitters so they can keep their own privilege than to actually get off the fence and pick somewhere. and choosing to sit on a fence, you're actually more dangerous than either side of it.
Scott, I understand that Dr. King understood the importance of moderate support. That wasn't my argument. It was that his goal in what he said and what he did was to bring moderates to him. I did not, and maybe there's speeches out there that I haven't heard that feel different, but every speech that I have heard was not trying to appease to moderates, but trying to pull moderates.
Trying to get moderates off the fence.
I think he understood that he needed support of moderates, just because, again, if you aren't everybody and you need more people to pass something, then obviously you got to gain support from them. The question is, how do we do it? Do we do it by going to them, or do we do it by bringing them to us? And I think that was the difference, is Dr. King brought people to him. Now, I think some of the bringing to him happened after he lost his life, but I still believe that that was his ultimate goal based on every speech that I have ever seen of his.
Well, if we move slow and we, want to take like 2 steps away every time we have an election, we're only 2 steps away from being in this shit again. Like, if we don't hightail it and make progress, then we won't have the safeguards and we won't have the progress in place.
%. Because what will end up happening is stalling out at trying to progress. You're going to give the chance for people who are extremely conservative / fascist to overtake everything. Well, we're all sitting here trying to decide where we go next. Like, it's just one of those things about making progressive movements. Either you decide to take it 10 steps forward, or you get knocked 10 steps back. You can't just stay standing. Like, we can't sit here arguing about every single solitary thing and not go anywhere. Like, this is, I'm starting to get so frustrated because I'm starting to realize that in choosing to try to fight against all of what is going on, not just like everything that's happening in the States is being spread everywhere. This mega movement is being spread absolutely everywhere, all over the planet. And I think the only way to extinguish the behavior is to first make those people feel absolutely incapable of speaking their hate ever. It's not acceptable. We won't accept it. It needs to be done. We can't keep arguing over how fast or slow we can go towards progression. We just need to make movements and then adjust as necessary. I think sitting here arguing all the time is allowing the people who want absolutely no progression and actually want regression to form all of this, and actually they're making more progression towards the regression than we are making forward in progression. We're starting to lose things we've already won as rights because we refuse to keep moving forward because we're arguing which way we should go. And instead, all the people who want everything to go back to the way it was are taking everything away that we had already won. Like, it's bonkers.
But I think it's easy for people. I think it's easier for people who's not being affected by their rights and things and stuff that actively targets them being taken away. It's really easy for them to want to maintain middle of the road, moderate positions.
Sure.
And also, these people who want it to go slow, I'm sorry, but I don't think they'd have the balls to like look at people in their face and be like, you are not worth progression. You are worth my like comfort, and you don't matter enough to be able to have any of these rights and freedoms.
I hear what you're saying, Scott. And again, like we're talking about Newsom here. If you're talking about a choice between Newsom and Vance, I'm obviously going to choose Newsom over Vance, personally. I can't speak for other people, because I know the danger of Vance is greater than the danger of Newsom. That being said, his target people, Dr. King's target audience was moderates, because he was trying to bring the people that didn't support him already to his cause. He didn't go to them. He didn't say, "You're right, let's slow this down," like they were wanting, and not fix things. He was saying, "No, we need to fix these things now, and this is why." He brought moderates to him. This is what I keep saying. Right now, what we are doing as a whole is trying to bring ourselves down to moderates. We are not doing what is necessary. And again, some of this is on progressives. I think a lot of progressives are bad at having conversations. I think a lot of this country is bad at having conversations. We aren't doing a good job bringing moderates to our cause. So what we have done is, instead of doing that anymore, we have just focused on trying to bring progressive ideas down to get as many moderates to be okay with it enough to vote for us. And again, to an extent, I understand that perspective, because there's a great fear of losing. I can trust me, I understand that fear. But in the grand scheme of things, do we want to fix the problem? The way we fix the problem, the way we have progress, is by bringing people towards progress, not going back towards moderates. This comes down to the whole idea of what is progressive and what is moderate. What this comes down to, it's so complicated. It's not a black and white. It's still grand scheme of things, not black and white. None of this is black and white, and we need to remember that too. It's not an us them. It's a lot of different things. It's not a progressive moderate, because there are different levels of moderate. There's different levels of progressive. There's different ideas on what both of those mean. There are moderates that have some very progressive ideas, but still consider themselves moderate. So, are we pushing away moderates from progressive ideals because they consider themselves moderate? This is why this is hard. This is why conversations are necessary. This is why we need to stop labeling to the extent that we do. It's not as easy as, 1 and 2, X and Y. Like this is hard. This is a hard conversation. This is a hard idea.
Yeah, Rosa, I agree. And I think I wish people who are not part of a marginalized community would literally take a second and step back and think about what it truly means for somebody who's never experienced your struggles to sit there and say that we should slow down the means in which we fix the things that are wrong. And think about how that would make you feel. And that's why I said what I said. I think it's really easy for people who are not marginalized, who have never been marginalized, and other than people that they love being affected, maybe they've never been personally affected by these things that are happening. I think that it says a lot. I think those actions, those words also tell people who look like me or not even just BIPOC people, with women too. I don't know if you realize the message that you're saying without saying the words. Because if you're okay with slowing down to make things better for all of us that have actually lost stuff, then you're really not our allies. And can we really trust you? Are you really on our side?
Yes. All of that, Kia.
Yes.
Chef's kiss. No notes. That perfect.
all of it. I would say no to answer your question, though.
Yep. I would say you saying I want to slow down progression when marginalized people have actively lost rights over the past 5 years tells me you're not an ally to any of us who've been marginalized by any means. And it's why I said I think fence sitters or those progressives in the middle that like they're not safe. They no longer feel like allies, and to me they are even more dangerous than the people sitting on the other side, because at least I know where they stand. I don't know where you stand. You seem like a person who is wearing a mask constantly. So when I look at a moderate, to me, I'm like, okay, so what masks are you holding up so I don't actually see what you truly believe? Because at least when somebody identifies as a MAGA or a Maple MAGA or something like that, I know exactly where they stand on all of these issues. I know exactly what they believe. I know it all. I know what I'm dealing with then. When you're sitting here saying to me, well, I'm a moderate and stuff like that, I don't know what that means. What masks are you holding up to me? Where do you draw lines in the sand? What do you think is should be a right for people? What do you think isn't? What what do you value? Like to me, I think they're even more dangerous because I can't trust them anymore. Because there's a lot of people who said they were moderates or progressives and stuff who only later do you find out they're not really allies, or they're only allies to certain people because it benefits them. And so I count all of them as you're not trustworthy. I need to keep you at arm's length because you're only as trustworthy as far as I can see you.
How do we
I
get
agree
them?
too.
How do we get them on our side? We stop with the identity politics and we have real conversations. We have conversations about what direction we want to go and why we think it's important. Identity politics is always going to be an issue. It's always going to be an issue here if we keep focusing on these words. If we keep focusing on left, right, Democrat, Republican, progressive, conservative. Jose's talking about over in the tube why so many people in Latin America don't like the word progressive because of Chavez. And it's valid. So what we end up doing is we end up being completely unwilling to have conversations with people because they identify as a certain word. We say that we won't talk with people that identify as certain things, which again, I'm not going to invalidate anyone's, especially if you call yourself MAGA. I don't deny that need to say nope to someone who says they're MAGA. But however, in the same respect, I think we oftentimes see both sides see someone with a letter next to their name or how someone identifies in terms of their beliefs, and we end up not listening as a whole, or we decide we know what they think. Now, again, could we most of the time? Absolutely, we could. 100% we could. I just think we're going to always have trouble if all we do is pay attention to that word that they associate themselves with and don't actually have a conversation about what that actually means to me. Because what being a progressive means to me could be different than what being a progressive means to anyone else here. That could look completely different.
And I agree. I think the labels are doing more harm than are good. But like we had that incident in BC in Canada I think it was 2 days ago. It's hard to remember now. With the the school pew-pewing here, and the first thing that started popping up, and this was in not just in worldwide content, but also in Canadian political content, was people making commentary about the person who had done the pew-pewing and doing significant harm to the trans community. And I saw a lot of progressive, center, liberal, to fill in the blank here of label you want to use, because I think it also depends on where you are in the world, doing active harm by their commentary about this event to the trans community. And at that moment, I looked like I saw all of these people, and I'm like, they're not allies. And I'm like, and if they're not if they've this whole time said they were an ally to the trans community, and they've just now proven with their actions that they're not, does that mean they're an ally for women? Probably not. Only if
No.
it benefits them. And the same thing goes with the BIPOC community. The same thing goes everywhere, because as anyone who is in a marginalized group, the minute you see a person showing themselves as who they are, you no longer trust that they are safe to be around. Because if they're willing to do harm to any marginalized community, if it benefits them, they will do it to you. And that is proof behavior throughout history. And I think until people are willing to reconcile that with themselves, that this is your behaviors and actions show more than any words, any letters, any flags, any fill in the blank here about who you actually are, what you actually stand for, and who you actually stand with, than any label can give you. And I think when incidents happen or when there's huge discussions, we really get to see what people really believe when the chips are down.
And here's the thing. And I had to say this, and then I gotta head out because I gotta eat, and then I got an interview coming up. There's a reason why I say I'm an independent in the grand scheme of things. I care. I have a fundamental, I have a line, okay, that says all people, no matter your race, religion, gender, or identity, deserve rights, respect, dignity, and safety. That's my line. That is the first thing that matters to me when it comes to who I'm voting for, is do you believe that? And then past that, then let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation about what you believe. And if you believe something that goes against that fundamental, depending on whether you're willing to listen, I may not talk to you anymore. But in the end, that is the perspective that I will always start at with, no matter who is running for office, is do you believe, based on what you say and your actions, that all people, no matter your race, religion, gender, identity, deserve rights, respect, dignity, and safety? And that's how these conversations need to happen. That's my issue. In the grand scheme of things, do I believe that Gavin Newsom believes that? Yes, actually, I do. Do I believe that he is making choices to try and win over people to win an election? And I think that it's hurting people in the grand scheme of things? Yes, which is one of the reasons that if I find a better choice in the primaries, that is who I will vote for in the primaries. But if it were him and someone like J.D. Vance, who I don't believe has those values, I'll vote for Gavin Newsom. But if our goal is to progress, then we need to have conversations about why there are people in this country that aren't having rights, respect, dignity, and safety. And what that's looking like. So again, this is very nuanced. This is very difficult. This is not an easy conversation to have. And that's what it keeps coming down to, is this is not an easy conversation to have. This is not, this will always involve all of us having to look inward at ourselves as much as having conversations outward with other people. Daily, I am when I think things, I'm thinking about why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking. Because it's just as important to know why I believe what I believe as it is for me to talk about what I believe. And a lot of us don't want to do that. And I understand it's hard. 40% of Americans say they're independent. Actually, it's about 9%. I hear you, Scott. And again, these are all conversations we need to have. And I appreciate you. You know that you are family, even when we don't agree on things. And I know you care about people, which is why it's great that we have these conversations. What's up, Shug? This is why what we're doing is important. This is why what we're doing is important. I understand, when I say I understand every perspective that Scott puts out, I do. I do. And in the end, I know that we have the same fundamentals. And that is what matters. I know that Scott listens to me even when he disagrees with me. Scott knows I listen to him even when I disagree with him. Those are all necessary when it comes to having these conversations. He respects my view even when he disagrees with it. And we need to figure out a way to do that more with more people. The problem on this sometimes is that the people that come in don't want to listen. They just want to attack me and my perspective. Stuff like that. They want to make fun of my teeth instead of actually caring what I'm saying. Those are people that I don't care about. That's a sad life. Those are people I'm not going to reach ever. And when it comes down to it, all of us, this is why I keep saying, there are hundreds, thousands of people that want to do the right thing, that want to make the changes that we keep saying, that are willing to be held accountable. Are we willing to do the work? Are we willing to go through the annoyance to make that happen? I know most of the people here probably are. The question is, can we get enough people in this country to care, right? Should be focused on my fire lips? Yeah, Shug. You're right. They need to focus on my fire lips instead of my teeth. True. So like I said, I gotta head out, so I'm gonna do it. If you're over here on TikTok, please do all that stuff up there. Just so you know, again, if you're new here, I'm interviewing as many progressive people as possible, and I'm pretty much posting every day now because I have so many videos. Even on the weekend, I'm just scheduling. I'm not gonna be like doing anything. Please watch them. Please share them, especially if you know people that live in those areas. But even if you don't, it actually makes you feel. It makes you feel kind of better about the world to see how many amazing people are running for office. Especially if you're in Texas and North Carolina, and there are people that are running, that I post, that are running in those districts. Early voting has started in North Carolina. I think early voting in Texas starts in a week or two, week and a half, something like that. And you got Illinois coming up. You got others coming up. So please watch and share. It really does mean the world to me. My goal always is how to win. Nothing else matters if we don't. I hear you, Scott. I understand. And you know what? I can appreciate that perspective. And I think it's important. I think it's important to have that conversation. I want to be clear. Winning is insanely important when you've got people who view the world the way the other side do. I just think sometimes we focus too much on winning and don't focus on the past that at all. And if winning means we don't go anywhere, are we actually fixing a problem? I don't think we're stopping the moving backwards by just winning and not going forwards at all. Let's put it that way. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate you all coming up. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the gifts, and the gifted memberships over on the tube. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate you. I will see you all tomorrow morning. And again, just so you know, next Friday during this live, we will be sitting down with Elizabeth Beggs, who is running in Virginia's 1st district. So you guys will get to ask her questions then if you want. She's obviously an amazing person, so I'm excited for you guys to hang out and talk with her. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. You guys are amazing just the way you are, and I love you all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, smile. Do something that makes you happy. Bye, guys. Bye, YouTube. You guys rock. Love you. Same bat time, same bat channel. Great.